What up, peeps? What up, peeps? Good morning. In a new piece today. I'm familiar with this piece, but I don't know how the deer use it. But I've been in here, but I haven't really figured the deer out yet. So this is a pretty new piece for hunting. It's a federal piece, so no deer drives, no bait piles. That don't mean people don't. So it is an advantage for yourself to hunt spots like that, or bow only, no bait, no deer drives. It's a little less pressure. I do hunt a lot of spots where they allow bait, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't mind bait at all, because if I find a bait pile, I know that's a destination spot, and I know where the deer are going to be. So it solves a lot of my research that I need to do in that area if I find a situation like that. So it's this is a marsh type area with little bowls in the middle of swamp and hollies and oaks, and it'll have little pieces of little open white oaks, and they'll get a little thick, and it's little bowls within the woods of wetness, and the whole edge is all marsh, all Phragmite marsh. So here we go. Already I see deer coming through. He might be coming through here. I might have spooked him. So I might have pulled over. He might have been bedded on one of these knobs here. See this knob, this high knob. He might have been bedding. This is a really good scenario where a deer would be bedded right here, tree to his back, knob. He's bedding right off this water. Is that a bed? No, but could be. But we're over there somewhere. Any one of these knobs that are sticking up out of the water. It don't have to be much. 2 foot, 3 foot elevation change can cause a knob. My main focus right now is to find spots that are more than likely going to draw hunters. Here's an absolute magnet to hunters. You got thick, wet, and nasty behind you, which is good. Wind out of the west or north or southwest, right in your face. And they want to hunt this open area. Out in front of them, the elevation rises, and you get more pines. You get less hollies, like down in here and stuff. And you get the pines that block out the sun, and see how wide open it is. I get it. Hunters want to see a long way. They don't want to be surprised by deer, but that's not going to be a very consistent, good way to hunt public land pressured deer. So stay away from these open spots, because most likely you're going to walk in here scouting and find somebody's equipment here anyway, if not somebody in here. I keep saying over and over, watch these old stands you find, these old wooden stands from years and years back. This is in a really good spot, in my opinion. It's a little open up in here, on the one side. The wind out of the north and the east, north, the west, or even a little bit of the west-southwest could be great for this. And he's looking down into this super thick, nasty bowl. This is a really big bowl, really, really thick down in there. These are spots that I really do like, and I'm actually going to mark this. And this is a spot here that will host does for doe bedding, and more than bucks. Bucks will bed in here, I'm sure, too, depending on the situation. But this will be a really good. This big bowl is really big, really thick, and it's where the does can get through there without no problems. The bucks will have to weave and all that through it, but it's really swampy, wet, and nasty in the middle of there, and these deer love that. So this old stand is at a great spot, and I'm going to actually mark a tree here, and I would sit here during a rut, because these bucks will run through this bowl back and forth this way, almost east to west, west to east, looking for does throughout. Oh my God, there is deer here. Little guy, man. Little guy. But we're running down this big finger, surrounded by frag bowls and huge marsh. This is where you want to really focus on, is where they're going to be most of the day side. We have a really big full moon. Just had a huge storm, but I could bet your ass there's a bed under this here. These little isolated trees or bushes off of this edge. This is kind of a soft transition where it peters out, and the where the frag is actually intruding into the woods. That is fantastic. That is where you want to be. You don't want to be right on a hard edge, but like, see how this is intruding into the woods, this Phragmite. These are really good spots. It's thick on the edges, and then of course wherever you get pines on top of that crown where it's the highest elevation, you're gonna not have much, because the pines block out the sunlight, and you know, Mother Nature does her thing. But so we're coming up on the edge of this finger, the end of it. We're walking this transition, and we're noting where the lowest spots are along this transition, where the frag is invading the woods. That is where you're going to be seeing a lot of your beds, in my opinion. It could be different anywhere else, but whenever I'm looking along these like this, that's where I look for beds, and a lot of my beds end up right there. So keep that under your hat. Look, white oaks within bedding. So if I'm 500 yards up there, right, hunting a certain deer, and he's bedding up in this nasty, disgusting, thick shit with white oaks right here, and I'm in here early season, we're all the way up to mid-October, you think I'm gonna see that buck up there 500-600 yards from here set up? Nope. I'm gonna be right up in here, maybe 100 yards at the most, setting up, you know, down in here, downwind of him, knowing that he's bedding up in here. Look at, now we're on our way out to a point. See how it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker? It's getting nasty all the way out to the point. That's a really good point. And people ask me, well, how do you know the timing? And I'm going to show you. When I get to this point, I'll show you when I come back out. I'll show you when it's time to hunt this point. So that's the tip, you know, down in there is that point, is the tip. And what I'm talking about is, here's an old rub, you know, from this year. And if you're coming in here and the wind's right and you get real quiet in here, and this is fresh, super, super fresh, like big time fresh, like you know, this morning or last night, that is telling you it's time to hunt, you know, hunt this point. That most likely there's something bedding up in there during the day. So that is what's going to tell you to hunt right here, right now. And that is the biggest thing to the meaning of, to me, hunting that red hot sign at the right time. So, you know, you're out in these open woods out here, there's rubs all over in that out in woods. But that buck that's bedding down in here, that's hitting this up, is not getting out to that open woods behind us till way after dark. He's probably laying there, or he's coming up in here and staging somewhere, hitting one of these red or black oaks up in here, and you'll never see him up in there. So if you're hunting points, fingers, and stuff like that, and you start seeing these rubs where it just starts to pinch down, that's your sign to hunt here, hunt now. But these rubs and scrapes and stuff on these points had to be red hot. They had to be from last night or this morning or whatever. So the newer, the better. Remember that. Keep that under your hat.